All right, we are going to bring up our last company from Boston, Wanderu, if you want to make your way up here. The simplest way to find and book a bus or train from point A to point B. You will have 5 minutes that will begin when you start.
Thank you. My name is Paulina Regorodskaya. I'm the CEO of Wanderu. This is what flight booking looks like. There are travel sites that have simplified the booking process for consumers by allowing people to search for all their flight options in one place. This is what bus booking looks like. Technology is extremely outdated, and many of the providers don't even have online ticketing. So you go to their website, and you download a PDF like this. Even for those that do have online ticketing, there are a lot of different options that serve major city routes. For instance, between DC and New York, you have 9 different reputable brands that serve that route. So the person has to go to 9 different websites to figure out schedules and availability. Across the country, there's over 100 different bus companies. This is what the process looks like for the 750 million people that traveled by intercity bus in the US alone last year. In North America, people spent $20.4 billion on bus and train tickets. So who are these people traveling by bus? Well, 74% of them are students, young professionals, ages 18 to 35. These are the people that book an Uber with the click of a button on their phone. They use Kayak to book their flights and Price Grabber to find the best technology. They are impatient and demand efficiency in their booking process.
Meet Jane. She is a student in Boston and travels by bus frequently to visit her family in New York. Her mom just called. Her sister gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. She's an aunt. She really wants to take a trip to New York City this weekend to visit her sister and baby niece. She goes to megabus.com to snag a ticket for tomorrow. Everything is sold out. She tries boltbus.com, nothing available. Half an hour, 4 websites, and a few off-base Google searches later, she finally finds and books a ticket on a small regional carrier. It leaves far from her house and gets in too late. Frustrated, she thinks there must be a more efficient way to find and book bus and train tickets. Meet Tom. He lives in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and has his own consulting firm. He just got word that the client he has been trying to land for months finally wants to meet him in DC tomorrow. He wants to take the trip, but the drive is too long, and flying last minute is just too expensive. He goes to Google to see if he can find a bus or train. Nothing. He tries Greyhound.com, but Greyhound does not serve the full route. He would need to take more than 1 bus to get him there. But what buses? Where do they stop and connect? He spends an hour more aimlessly searching on Google, but no one bus or train serves the route. Nothing connects. With his big opportunity slipping away, he thinks to himself, there must be something out there.
Well, Tom, now there is. Wanderu is the simplest way to find and book bus and train travel between any 2 points in the country. You can type in Portsmouth, New Hampshire to Washington, D.C., select the date that you want to travel, and we instantly aggregate all the different options, route between different providers, and integrate transit directions to create a quick and easy search and booking experience for the traveler. Our search results can be quickly sorted through to find the best option. If you want to see information on each leg, you click the connections, and you can see the carriers that serve that route, the location of each station, the times. We even provide you with transit directions to get to each of the locations. Once you finalize the option you want, you are sent to book directly on our travel partner's website. We take a percentage of each transaction from our travel partner so that the customer never pays anything extra. We have partnerships in place that give us coverage across the country. In fact, we were able to use our search to get down here today for South by Southwest, from Boston to Austin, routing through multiple different providers. So why hasn't this been done before? Well, in the airline industry, there are far fewer options, and there are data aggregators, middle-layer technologies that have aggregated and standardized the data from airlines, and they license this technology to consumer-facing portals. Within the bus industry, there are hundreds of different providers, and that technology does not exist. We have built this technology, and we have launched the first version of our beta in the Northeast, where we have over 65% coverage. We have over 12,000 people signed up to use this beta, and we just launched this month without spending any money on advertising. We have amazing investors and advisors on board that are going to help us build this company. Jeff Clark, the current chairman of Orbitz, Craig Lench, former CEO of Greyhound, and Brian Harneman, former VP of online marketing at Priceline and Kayak. We have a great team made up of serial entrepreneurs with collective experience in operations, marketing, and engineering. I started my first company when I was a sophomore at Babson College. I was named one of Business Week's top 25 entrepreneurs under 25. Our COO has experience in engineering and law, and our CTO, Eddie Wong, was chief architect at a company called Open Sesame, where he helped build one of the first personalization technologies and helped lead that acquisition to Alaire. Thank you.
Bob, we'll open up with you.
So this is a really exciting space you're in, like kayak, which you obviously know about, and Uber, and another kind of travel, or Ride Scout here in Austin, or Lyft, and how are they all going to sort out and fit together, or is it such a large space that we don't have to sort of fit them together in a puzzle?
Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because we do want to fit them together in our puzzle. As I mentioned, we already integrate local transit directions into our search. Our plan, we're already speaking with some of the local transportation companies to integrate them into our search to help the final mile. So people currently come to our site, instead of most airline searches where you drop down and select an airport, you can actually type in the exact address of where you are and where you want to go. So we're speaking with companies that can help get those people to the bus stations or to the train station. So we look at it as helping connect the whole country using non-air transportation.
Yeah, I was going to say, getting to New York from Boston, half the problem is getting to South Station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, transit directions. Pretty soon you can, I heard Sidecar is actually coming out to Boston. Very excited about that because Sidecar, one of our investors also invested in Sidecar.
Very quickly before we kick it down there. So in the 15 years that I've been traveling, I've used a variety of things from Travelocity, Orbitz, Bing. There seems to be a churn in this. What is it that you guys do that will keep, even if you make it, that keep somebody else from doing better than what you've done? As Bob calls, what is the secret sauce?
So for us, it's two things. One is creating the best possible user experience for customers, right? They come to our site, the simplicity of use, they fall in love with our brand and keeps them coming back. These are young people that demand simple user interface, and that's really what we're trying to focus on. The other thing is having the best possible database. As I said, there are hundreds of bus companies. We partner directly with each company to integrate them into our search. We are already way ahead of any potential competitor that can come into this market now in terms of the partnerships that we have, the amount of data we have in our database, and we continue to add new companies daily. So why would you want to go to a company, why would you go use another search when Google has all that option, or why would you go to a different company than Airbnb when they have all that option? It's all about having the largest possible database.
Are they exclusive relationships or no?
Yes, a lot of our relationships are exclusive.
Down to the judges.
Cool. Well, there's so much cool innovation going on in travel now. I mean, there's this this subscription airline called Surfair, but what they had to do was just integrate end-to-end. They actually had to start their own airline. So my question is, in what seems like an incredibly antiquated infrastructure, how far up and down the kind of value chain do you go? Can you actually give me an electronic ticket for all of those bus legs that would bring you from Boston to Austin?
So right now, no. Right now, we work very similarly to the way that Kayak works, where we send people to book directly on our travel partners website. In the future, it is in our vision to have the best possible user experience. But right now, because of the technology in the industry, that's not what we do. Right now, we keep it with an aggregator model. We do want to be able to create an easier booking experience in the future for customers.
Dave.
You had the slide with the 3 different buckets of airline travel and then the 3 different buckets.
Yeah.
Why did you pick the top right? Why didn't you go to one of the other 2 buckets?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Why aren't you doing data aggregation or consumer portal? Why are you a travel provider? Like, which one of those are you going after?
So we are both. So we are the data aggregators. Because that technology does not exist in this market, we have created that technology. And because we've created that technology, we're able to be the consumer-facing portal as well. We have been approached by companies that are interested in potentially licensing our data, some of the consumer-facing technologies companies. However, we look at it as we've already created this middle layer technology, which gives us a huge leg up. So we want to build a consumer brand around that as well. We are open to potentially in the future licensing that technology, but it's not something that we're looking to do right now because we have the opportunity to be the consumer brand.
Can you say more about why you think ground travel is shaking out the way it has relative to airlines around there not being an equivalent of an ITA?
Yep.
And it's kind of following the question that it seems like the database is really one of your competitive advantages. How do you maintain that competitive advantage over time? Is that via exclusivity, or do you have the best BD team, or how does that play out?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things we do. In terms of the technology with the airlines, so I'll give you a little bit of history. Back over a decade ago, the airline companies came together and they standardized their technology so that or standardize their data so that they could easily share that data with travel agents. Sabre was actually launched by American Airlines for that very same reason. Within the bus industry, this industry is actually really new to the growth that's been experiencing in this market. So back over, maybe 8 years ago, there was really just Greyhound in the market, and then there were some smaller bus companies. But Greyhound really dominated the market. And the type of people that traveled by bus tended to be older people and people that couldn't afford other forms of transportation, so they tended to travel by bus. About 7 years ago, new types of bus companies, which some people call curbside carriers, came into the market and started offering new buses, Wi-Fi, plugs, and started targeting a whole new type of demographic. This really launched the bus revolution, where it's really over the past 7 years that these companies have been growing at 30% per year. The overall market has been growing at about 7% per year. And while short-haul flights are dropping at 25% over the past 5 years. So you have a whole bunch of new companies, very new to technology, and there was no time for, they haven't come together to standardize that data. So we have come in to standardize all the data from our travel partners. The other part of the technology that makes it different from airlines is you fly in and out of the same airport. The airports have the station code, it's the airport codes, LGA stands for LaGuardia. This is all well known, and it's one place that you fly in and out of. In New York, if you have spent any time walking around the streets of New York, there are bus stops in random places all over the city, so there's no standardization of that data either. So we've created kind of a standard of airport codes in the bus world, so bus codes for those locations. And so all of this is a pretty complex big data of technology. And then the third part to why we're able to maintain the competitive advantage is we're also, aside from being able to integrate with the companies that have online ticketing, we're also bringing in those that don't have online ticketing into our system and providing a reservation system similar to what OpenTable has done for the restaurants, but for the bus world. So about half of the bus companies, as I said, there's over 150 bus companies in the US alone. About half of them they only serve small routes and they don't have online ticketing. And those are people that need the technology that we're able to bring into our system, and we own that data.
Thank you.
That was kind of a long question, but it was a...
We got 10 minutes. Patrick.
You have got an incredibly slick-looking product, and I really love the focus on a youth community. Maybe one of the things that might make the platform sticky and really develop is, have you ever thought about, kind of like a couch surfing, like building a community around youth who travel on buses?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, our focus is really about building the thing that they really need, right? So there's a lot of brands that try to target young people. And those brands are trying to acquire those users, and it's really expensive because they're all trying to get them. For us, there's nobody else that is solving this problem, and this problem is targeting young people. So we want to build initially a product that solves that problem and is super easy to use and has a slick, beautiful interface. And then we do want to add in social aspects of it and make it more of a brand targeting young people than just a utility of, say, a kayak.
Define young people.
18 to 35, students, millennials, as people like to call them.
Okay, because 18 and 35 are different.
Yeah,
They're
so
radically
the
different.
millennial generation is currently 18 to 35,
Right.
and that's the type of generation that grew up on ICQ and Facebook and social networks.
Generation X. Go ahead, David.
What company in another space has done the data aggregation and built a consumer-facing brand? And do you have an example that you look at and say, if we could do what they did in that industry, we're going to win this?
And we got a minute to
So
answer.
I think Airbnb does an amazing job. They don't do data aggregation. They've built a community. But in a sense, it's still, you come there searching for a place to stay, but they also create an experience, right? So I really like the new user face that they've done where you come and you can go to different places in New York. You can go by neighborhood and stuff like that. They haven't done data aggregation, but there's still a travel search where they own the...
Is there something outside of the travel space that has done data aggregation across a really fragmented industry and then taken that aggregation and made it a consumer-facing brand that customers love?
I can't think of anything at the top of my head right now.
We got 10
Outside of
seconds.
the travel space.
If I'm a partner, why would I want to sign an exclusive agreement with you versus if, say, like Google got in the space, why would I not just have multiple relationships?
I mean, we are bringing technology to our bus partners, and they're extremely excited about it. So thus far, they've been excited about signing our agreements.
Exclusively, okay.
And that's good. That was a good, quick answer to that question. Thank you very much. We are out of time. That's a great presentation. Thank you very much.